Welcome to Crown and Connections with Rob Clemons. It is a beautiful day in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And speaking about Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, I am blessed today to have Nigel Horonzy with me. We're going to talk a little bit about Myrtle Beach. We're going to talk a little bit about his company, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, and some of the things they're doing out there. But the biggest thing that I would like to take out of this today is just things that make companies in this area successful, true success stories. And so I'm going to open up with this. Nigel, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rob. And listen, I love your podcast voice.
Well,
I love how you just turned that on.
Right. Yeah. Before I start, I'm like, "Hi, Nigel," and then I do this fake voice.
You're doing good.
All right. Awesome. I appreciate that. Well, Nigel, I've known you for a little while. We don't get to talk a lot, but
right.
I know that you've been involved with the Myrtle Beach area for a long time. Tell us a little bit about your background. Where are you from originally?
Sure. So born and raised here.
Okay.
So
nice.
I'm one of the few people that you'll probably meet today.
Wow.
born and raised in Myrtle Beach in Conway,
Nice.
Horry County boy. Went to schools here. Own Berkshire Hathaway Myrtle Beach Real Estate, as you talked about. We have the Horonzy Construction Group as well, and the Myrtle Beach Travel Park. So I'm involved with a lot of different businesses in the area and a lot of different boards on top of that.
Now I want to start off with the Myrtle Beach Travel Park. I heard about this. It was a Mega Park of the Year.
Park of the Year for the country.
Wow, that's incredible. So we're talking about all 50 states.
That's right.
And you guys got Mega Park of the Year. How did you do that? I mean, like what got you there?
Well, they have certain criterias, so you got to check all the boxes, from activities to, the way your park looks, all these different boxes that you have to check. And we've had the park for quite a while. We put a lot of work into it recently. We have a ton of activities. We have a half a mile of oceanfront, nice. Pools, lazy rivers, indoor pools, stores, bathhouses, all types of things. So wow. We got a large lake on the property, fresh water. You can actually be on the lake and see the ocean. One of the few places that you'll ever find that in Horry County.
Man, that's amazing. How deep is the lake?
It's probably 15 feet or so towards the middle, but it's not terribly deep. So.
Yeah. Sometimes those things are shockingly shallow,
Yes.
I remember when I was growing up, my grandparents had a lake out in Andrews, believe it or not, the famous town of Andrews, South Carolina.
Yes.
Shout out for anybody, right?
Shout out for Andrews.
Right. But they had this pond in the back, and as a little kid, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Yeah. It was like 4 feet deep. Yeah. You can walk through that thing now.
Did you dive into it and figure that out?
I think I was scared too, because there was all kinds of nonsense in that. Like,
yes.
The first time I saw like a snake going through there, I was like, nah, we're not going to do that.
Yeah. Listen, anytime I go to anywhere and I see a snake, I'm out.
Right.
I'm out. Right. Snakes and alligators.
Man, I'll tell you, there's something about the way they move. It just doesn't make things pleasant at all, right?
Not at all.
And not alligators either, right?
Yeah.
I was walking this is true, Nigel. I was walking my dog about, I want to say it was about 3 months ago now. This is a true story. I'm walking him in the morning, and we do this every morning. It's me and my two dogs, and it's dark out. I walk him at like 4 a.m., right?
Yes.
So I'm looking at my cell phone, as I've become accustomed to doing, and they stop and they're sniffing. I'm like, what are you guys doing? And I look down and there's an alligator sitting on the side of the road, not 2 feet from us.
Is that right?
2 feet. And honestly, it shocked me. I hadn't looked at my phone since.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm pulling into my neighborhood, and we have a lake near right by our house.
Yeah.
And I'm getting close to my house, and there's a gator that has to be 12 foot long.
Ooh.
And it's almost, covering the entire street.
Wow.
Walking across, up high, and I stop, and I'm like, wow.
Did you actually like go and wrestle with him and like grab him?
I thought about it.
Yeah.
I thought about it, but I figured I had enough shoes.
Probably, right. You probably had somewhere to be too. Otherwise, you would have been all over.
That's right.
Those guys move fast, by the way.
I know. But you got to zigzag. That's what they tell you, but I have never had that, opportunity to be chased.
Okay, hold on. So I need to know this for sure. So if you're ever being chased by an alligator, you zigzag.
You're supposed to zigzag.
No way.
That's what they tell you. They can run faster, but they can't zigzag.
Oh my gosh, this is what this podcast is all about. Yeah. It's the true tips people need to know.
That's right. That's it. Life lessons. If you ever get chased by an alligator, zigzag.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And if you ever get chased by a snake, what do you do?
Haul ass.
Jump in a tree or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. Well, that sounds great. Congratulations with the travel park there. And that's pretty amazing. Is there anything that people ever go to the travel park and that you just hear over and over, like, I can't believe you guys have this here?
Well, we get a lot of repeat visitors. So we got families that have been coming for generations now.
Yeah.
So the park's about 50 years old
Okay.
at this point. So we got, the grandkids that now come and they go, well, I remember this thing here at the park, or I remember that. And they always have a pleasant experience. They got the beauty of both worlds. We, like I said, a half mile of ocean front, pristine in Horry County. We're right next to the Maribaba Center, which is 500 acres untouched land.
Wow.
So, down the coast is untouched. It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
So,
You don't see a lot of that out here.
The East Coast, you don't.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations on that
Thank
one
you,
for sure.
thank
I'm a licensed builder by trade as well.
Yes.
So let's talk a little building industry in Myrtle Beach.
All right, let's do it.
So before we got on today, you were talking about some of the communities you guys are doing stuff in.
Yes.
What are a couple of the hot communities you're building in right now?
So we're in Boardwalk on the Waterway. We're doing a couple of houses on the Intercoastal, just closed on a few. We are in Carolina Waterway Plantation. We are in the Bluffs. We are in Covington Lakes East. We're in Sago Plantation. We're in Wild Wing. We're actually in Conway doing a few. And then we're about to start 4 new ones in Tidewater.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Tidewater still got spots.
Tidewater,
Man.
I tell you what, Tidewater's a hidden gem. That golf course to me is one of the best golf courses on the Strand. It's absolutely beautiful. You get to play on the creek, then you end up on the waterway, and it's just a great community all in all.
Is that a private course, or can anybody go golf out there?
Anybody can golf out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I always felt like, so when I was at home building, we were doing stuff up in Tidewater once in a while, and they got some beautiful marshy front stuff too. I don't know if anything's left over there that you can build on, but
not much, but if there is, you pay out the nose.
Yeah, no doubt. Of course. So you told me you started building back in 2006?
Yeah, 2006.
All right.
Yeah.
So you came in right as the market was really heating up.
and I think I got my real estate license first, and then I got my building license. But at that time, I was broke, and I would do some real estate during the day, and during the evenings, I'd go work on the houses and do the work myself. So I'd install the floors, the tiles, the cabinets, the electrical, do the landscape and the grading, stuff like that. So I would have to split my time, and it's, one house at a time here and there.
They took about 3 years because you were doing it by yourself.
Yeah. Fortunately, I had a good friend of mine, a mentor that, when I was younger, I worked for, that was able to help me out, kind of guide me.
Right on.
So it worked out pretty good.
What's your favorite part of construction? If you have to do it yourself, what's your favorite part?
With my personal hands?
Is it the trim?
Oh, bro, I'm graduated from that.
Oh, you graduated? No.
Listen, what I've been told is never take another man's job.
That's right. That's right.
Never
Very
take
solid.
another man's job.
Solid principles here.
Yeah.
Well, and I know it's hard. Like you probably really miss putting on tile and all that stuff. That's great fun.
Yeah.
I've done this. It's one of those projects where you start it and for the first, 100, 200 square feet, you're like, this is kind of fun. And then like you're looking at the rest of the house and you got like another 300 feet to go or whatever.
Yeah.
Not fun.
Well, electrical is probably my favorite part too.
Is it really?
Because my dad was an electrician.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I understood it.
Yeah, well, and that's cool because a lot of people are scared of electrical.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard some really good contractors who will just tell me like, Rob, I do not want to do electrical. Anything that can kill me, I'm not into.
That's right. You got to be very careful.
Yeah, really. Yeah. So as far as Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, one thing I was always curious of, and you probably hear this question from time to time, but is this something Warren Buffett in some form or fashion is involved with?
Well, it's a franchise.
Okay.
So Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett technically owns the franchise.
Okay, yeah.
And we're independently owned.
Sure.
So, we own our office, our franchise.
Absolutely.
So, and it works out nice. We, when I first started in real estate, so it was probably 2004, and we went through the Great Recession, and I started working on purchasing the company back in 2008.
Okay.
And when we started, I grabbed a group of guys. I said, hey, let's just work on this. So we started negotiating. Burroughs and Chapin owned it at the time, and they went through a CEO change. And those partners dropped out, and finally it ended up being 4 of us, Marvin, my current partner, and 2 others. And in 2010, they bailed right before we were going to close on the deal. And then of course, it was divine intervention because Marvin and I closed in 2010 on it. And we were at Prudential at the time. So we were Prudential Myrtle Beach Real Estate.
Okay.
And so about 2 years later, Berkshire Hathaway bought Prudential. So we went through 2 name changes. So we had to change from Prudential Burrs and Chapin to Prudential Myrtle Beach Real Estate. About 2 years later, now this is all your signs, right?
Yeah.
And I remember Marvin going out and us going out, and we wanted it to pop. So we changed all the yard signs. You're talking, 100, plus yard signs, and we wanted to get them all that night, So we had people running around, and 2 years later, Berkshire Hathaway bought it. Then we're at Berkshire Hathaway Myrtle Beach Real Estate. Had to go through the same stuff.
Oh my gosh. And it's underrated. When you're talking about a bunch of those signs, they're not cheap either.
No. They're getting close to $100 a pop.
Good Lord. Yeah. My gosh. Well, one thing is I thought it was brilliant. I remember you guys when you came out, because again, I've been building probably for a little around the same time.
Yes.
I'm a builder by trade. I also have my broker's license, so I know a little bit about that. And I remember seeing that. I thought, man, this is really cool, because honestly, no offense to any real estate company, but to have a name like Berkshire Hathaway, it brings up connotations, man. I'm a big fan of the company. And
yes.
I start looking, I'm like, wow, that's a great name.
Right. Well, we it's one of the most, one of the best brands in the world, one of the most respected, if you go look, you got Apple, Berkshire Hathaway,
Absolutely.
It goes like that. It's the most respected. So we love having the brand and the name. Matter of fact, we're going to our convention on Saturday, which is in Louisville.
Okay.
So they'll have their big, which Louisville, I don't, how they pick Louisville, but they say but they say it's great.
Oh,
they say it's great.
They make great baseball bats out there.
They do. I heard that. And good whiskey.
And good whiskey.
Or bourbon, whatever.
If you ever want to go out and smash something with a baseball bat and drink some whiskey, you're in your spot.
Yeah, you're in the perfect spot, right?
Right.
A lot of those smash houses there.
That happens, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, but Berkshire Hathaway, we were really excited to be with them. We believe that it's a good brand. At that time, there were no other Berkshire Hathaways around. Lots of other companies had, several different owners. Mm-hmm. So we've been very blessed to be a part of it.
Man, that's awesome. So they do this countrywide. All the people that have these franchises, they come together for this.
And I do believe, yes. And then Warren Buffett does own a couple of the big ones himself.
Okay. Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I think that's a whole thing in itself, but not to go too deep into it. Tell me what made you guys so successful, because obviously you built it from the ground up. And I ask this question specifically because you and I both lived in Myrtle Beach for a while. I'm not born and raised here, but I've lived here since I came to college. And I got to tell you, a lot of people want to get into real estate and eventually maybe open their own brokerage. And you and I both know, how many realtors are there in this area right now?
Well, when you get your tab at the restaurant, you get a business card.
Yeah. Right. That's exactly.
That'll tell you.
And how many times you hear this? I just got into real estate, and it's a beautiful thing. I think it's a great career for people.
Absolutely.
But a lot of people get into it and then just don't have success for one reason or another. Tell me what you believe that you guys did that makes you special.
Well, I always tell people when we interview them that real estate is one of the hardest things that you can do. Mm-hmm. Now, it's one of the easiest things to get licensed. It takes longer to get your cosmetology license than it takes to get your real estate license.
I've heard this.
And you're dealing with people's, a lot of times their largest investments. Mm-hmm. Well, it's very easy to get into, but very hard to get good at.
Yeah.
And what I say is you got to master the repetitious boredom of doing the same activities over and over and over. It's probably similar to your business. You got guys probably prospecting for clients to get new roofs and things like that. Well, it's the same with real estate. You have to be able to be willing to prospect, follow the processes, and listen and do it over and over and over. Deliver wonderful customer service, then you'll start to get the repeat clients to it. So, with the perfect day, I always explain to a real estate agent, the perfect day is to come in at 8 o'clock, prospect from 8 to 10, from 10 to 12, follow up on your leads, go to lunch, go on your appointments from 1 to 2. If you're not doing appointments, preview properties, come back, take care of whatever paperwork you need. It's...
And I imagine you guys provide training.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. We provide everything to them. We give them, what they need to say. We're doing objection handlers now, we're doing, from role playing,
man. All right. Do one on me. I got to hear this, man. All right. So give me an idea of an objection you hear a bunch and how do you counter it? Just give us one tidbit.
Are you willing to cut your commission?
Oh yeah. So you're asking me? I'm the agent.
Oh, you can. I can ask you. Are you willing to cut your commission?
Well, as a agent, let me tell you, we're going to work really hard for you, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, or whomever I'm talking to. And we believe that cutting our commission is actually shortchanging yourself, because I want to put every bit of myself into this this property sell or this property purchase, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things that are incorporated into that. And so as a business, we just found that we're going to make a small margin at the end of the day here, but we know that we're going to be able to give you the best service possible. That's what I would say. I don't know how you guys handle.
Well, ask me the question.
All right. Nigel, would you cut your commission so we can save a little bit of money on this?
No. Any other questions?
I love that. That is the best objection handling I've ever heard, man. That is awesome. Can we try this again? Nigel, are you willing to maybe give me back your commission on something? How's that?
Well, let me tell you this. If an agent is willing to cut their commission on the front end, how hard are they going to work for you on the back end?
Yeah, that's a great question.
And your equity is the most important thing, right?
Yeah.
So you want that to be protected, correct?
Absolutely.
All right. So let's make that the first thing that we talk about when I arrive tomorrow at 1. Fair enough?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Fair enough. I like it.
And you always got to remember, selling is not telling.
Yeah.
Selling is asking questions.
Right. 100%. Okay. So now you know the real estate business well.
Yeah.
This is one that we hear a lot in this business. You know, people, not so much of an objection, but people say things like, you know, do you guys use subcontractors? Like, and you know, as a home builder, how, oh my God, are you guys? It's almost like a stressful thing. And we're like, you know, it's like you always have to always answer these kinds of things with a question. Myself, I said, I think you're asking me this question because you want to know who's doing the work on your roof, right? That's what you're actually asking me. And then we can go through this. And I'm like, what I would want to know if I were in your shoes are that I've got somebody who knows how to install the product, somebody that we work with all the time. I want to know that I have supervision of a Monarch Roofing person over that crew.
Yes.
And I can tell you that we do all those things. And yes, we use subcontractors. A lot of times I think by the end of the day, they're like, oh, okay, good.
Yes.
Because I've heard all these bad things about it. Now I know.
Yeah, right.
So it's cool that you guys do that. And I'm going to go back to something I'm going to say. I think the training is one of the things that makes most of the great brokerages great.
Yes.
Because a lot of these people, they graduate from their real estate, they got their license, and they're like, okay, I'm a realtor now. What do I do? Right?
What do I do?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
So you guys kind of walk them through.
You got to walk through. You got to learn your basics first, and then we, take you to the next level of how much or how hard you really want to work for it. But the majority of the top agents that I've trained and have listened have gone off to make tons of money.
Wow.
I remember taking a bartender that was, bartending forever, got her into real estate. I think year 2, she made $200,000+. Nice. And from there, the sky's the limit, and these are
200,000 plus in commissions.
Yeah. And so these are life changers, for people, if I could double your income, how would that affect you?
Oh, I mean, it makes a huge difference for everybody, right? You can invest more, and you can take better care of your family, all that good stuff.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's we take it from there. And then we also talk about investing because we want our people to invest. We need that residual income coming back because you don't want to be, 80 years old. I guess you could be, or you could want to be 80 years old.
Right.
I don't want to knock those people that are out there that are 80 years old selling real estate. I'm glad, happy for you.
Yeah, good for you.
But really at that point, you want to have some sort of residual income coming in. So.
Well, I mean, I think this is big for anybody, especially this happens for a lot of great salespeople. You're great at maybe making the sell, you're making the money, but a lot of people don't know how to manage money properly. Ooh. And I think that's a big part. So that kind of comes into what you guys almost feel like for your employees, or I don't know if you're independent contractors, you want to show them what to do.
Yeah, when they first start getting those tax bills in, it shocks them.
Oh,
I owe the government how much?
Right.
And I didn't say what?
Yeah, wow.
That's the first lesson we teach them. Take your money, take this amount, put it to the side because you'll need it for taxes.
Yeah. What do you recommend to a realtor? What should they be putting away?
I mean, at least 25%.
Yeah.
And now if you start hitting, bigger numbers, you need to put, 35, percent down too.
That makes sense.
And pay quarterly.
Yeah. Well,
pay
absolutely.
quarterly,
Yeah. I mean, if you're blessed enough to be doing that well in real estate, definitely need to be looking at putting aside some money and being grateful for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
So, that's cool.
Absolutely.
Let's, and we can go back to that a little bit. Tell me a little bit about yourself. What does Nigel like to do on his off time just to kind of release, get some stress release, whatever?
I've been big into traveling this year.
Okay.
That's what does it for me. And, keeps me sane, keeps me eager to come back and do it. Been to a lot of cool places. Matter of fact, I bought a condo in Charleston back in 2017. So the weekends that I'm not somewhere else, I'm in Charleston. It's this nice getaway. You go on a Friday, you come back on a Sunday, and you're refreshed.
That's really cool.
And I need that. One of my favorite ones recently was probably Cartagena, Colombia.
Okay.
That was a different experience in many ways.
Now tell me about that. You can't just say a different experience.
Well, can't go too crazy on you.
Right.
But no, we had a large house that had a pool in it that was open to the upstairs. We had a cook, we had a butler and an errand guy and rooftop.
Tell me the butler's name. Was it Jeeves
oh my gosh,
or something like that?
Well, I had to break out my translator on my phone to communicate a lot of the times because I didn't have my Spanish down.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So it was kind of fun, trying to talk to people, and we had some good friends meet us there. Went to I forget the name of the island. But Pablo Escobar had a big mansion on this island, and we went to this little restaurant bar. I mean, it was just an experience, a beautiful, beautiful place.
That's pretty cool. And have you ever been to Europe then? Have you gone to any of that area?
I did Africa. Okay. I did a safari. Which was absolutely amazing. We went during a migration season.
Oh, okay.
And when I tell you there was like thousands and millions of zebra and wildebeest moving as far as the eye could see. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Wow, that's awesome.
But Amsterdam, London, Paris, our islands. This year we went to Art Basel in Miami for the first time.
Okay,
and if you've never heard of Art Basel is one of the largest art shows in the world. So people come from all over the world. So they take over South Beach, they take over Wynwood. I mean, it is unbelievable. And I remember we went to this, it was like a shell of a building and they had an art show in it. So there's nothing, it was concrete and they had art all around the walls. They had a band in there, beautiful playing. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Playing some heavy metal or whatever.
I don't know, but it was different. It was different.
Right.
But then there was just, every place that you went, it was like a different art show. Just people, it was unbelievable.
Man, so you sound like a pretty cultured guy. So what's your favorite art? Are you like that level of art lover? Like I love modern abstract or whatever.
I just got one. It's more of like a graffiti art.
Graffiti art.
Yeah, and I just bought one for my house, and it's large. And it says,
would this be like Jackson Pollock kind of graffiti art?
If you ever heard of like Alec Monopoly.
Oh, yeah. No, listen, I hate to say this, and for anybody who might be listening, I have just given up all of my art expertise in like the last 30 seconds here. Jackson Pollock, check.
Yeah. But I got one, and it says, love is all you need. Okay. It's like this graffiti art. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, so you just saw this thing, and you're like, man, I want that.
I was like, I have that because love is all I need.
That is really cool.
And that's what we all need, right?
Yeah. Well,
that's
absolutely.
what the world needs.
A little bit more love.
That's
for sure.
right.
100%.
That's right.
Man, you're dropping some knowledge on me today.
Man, I'm trying. I'm trying.
Awesome. So let's go back to some of this traveling stuff. Have you ever been to south of the border at Dillon?
Who hadn't? What you mean?
I don't know, man. If you're coming down the East Coast down here, you're like south of the border.
South of the border, and then you get there and you're like, whoa. I heard they're redoing it though. Are they? Really? I mean, that's what I've heard. I haven't been.
It's been a minute since I've been by there.
Yeah. Remember the tall tower with the sombrero on it? Yeah. And then you get there and you're like, oh.
I used to joke with my wife. I was like, we should go on our honeymoon here before we got married. And she was like, what's the south of the border? I'm like, we should go on our honeymoon. Just to joke.
They still got the vibrating beds. Right. You put the quarters in.
Yeah. And the weirdest gift shops ever. But anyway,
absolutely.
So anybody who hasn't been there before, just check it out sometime. You're in for a treat.
Yeah, you are in for a
major treat. For
sure.
We went to Cancun years ago.
Oh, tell me.
I've never gotten to get down like south of the border, true south of the border, not Dillon south of the border. But it was one of these all-inclusive resorts.
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever been to one of these.
Like a Sandals.
Yeah, man, they're trying to give you like margaritas at like 8
all the
a.m.
time.
and stuff.
Yeah.
All
the time.
Sir, would you like some eggs and some margarita?
Yes.
I'm like, and you're
okay.
Like, you're on vacation. You're kind of like, well, maybe.
I mean, I'm on vacation.
Why not, right? So we're down there, and they told us, they're like, no tips. They said no tips. You can't give any tips.
Yes.
And so like, but here we are, and we got like $1, you know.
Yeah.
And you throw them $1, and they're so grateful.
Yeah.
We started to feel like real ballers out
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I
man.
bet so. I bet so. They were all coming out, weren't
They're
they?
all out.
They're like, how can we help you
$1.
today?
I'm like, hey, look, there's more where this came from.
Yes.
Too. It was kind of almost.
I love that.
After about a week of there, you start leaving really thinking you're a king of some sort.
That's right. That's right. Now, was that your favorite place, or what's your favorite place that you've been?
So my dad was there in the Air Force, so we grew up and we traveled around. We went to the obviously we spent 3 years in England, and so if you're in England, it's easy to go over to France, Germany.
Yes.
One of the most interesting things I think I saw was Luxembourg, which if you ever go to Luxembourg, they have the Maginot Line and everything, and just to see the way that some real like historic stuff.
Right.
Those are some of the things that stand out more to me than the typical landmarks you think of.
Right.
Just because I was like, you can almost put yourself in that
era. Yeah.
Just by being there.
For sure. That's awesome.
Yeah, kind of cool, you know.
Very cool.
But other than that, I think, just traveling in general, it's a good thing. And so
that's right.
Very cool to hear your stuff. So what else do you do? Reading anything good right now?
If I had my phone, I'd tell you I got several good books that I've been doing. I just got the new Tony Robbins book.
Nice.
He's talking about stem cells and, more about health than this one. I got one that is more for your mind, like balancing your mind and your body. Mm-hmm. We all got those motivational books. We've read the Grant Cardone's. One of the better books that I've read though recently, I don't know if you've read this one, is Bob Iger, who was the chairman of Disney. It's called A Ride of a Lifetime. And it goes through how he transformed Disney from buying, Fox to Lucasfilms to Pixar to, working with Steve Jobs, the whole gamut. And it's one of the better books. I've read it a couple of times just because it's so interesting.
Yeah.
And I just took my son down to Disney World, about a month or so ago.
Yeah.
How was it? Well, whoever said that's the happiest place on earth is full of. Do we got a beep in here on your thing? It is the most expensive place on earth.
It is.
And the busiest place on earth.
Also among the hottest places on earth. It feels like.
Yes. And they're so smart now. They got you put this little bracelet on, and you got to have the bracelet to open your door.
Oh, okay.
But they put your credit card on there, so when you go to get your food, you swipe it, or when anything. So you're like, oh, well, this is easy. We just keep on swiping.
Keep spending,
yeah. Then you get your bill at the end. You're like, oh,
it might as well be a Rolex at that point.
Y'all got me. Y'all got me.
Well, I do want to ask you this. So going into the Disney World, and then I want to go back to that book because there's something I heard there. So have you been to Disney World before?
I have. It's been probably 8 years since I last went.
It's come a long way, hasn't it?
I mean, it's amazing.
Those parks are pushing each other. You want to talk about competition? Universal Studios and Disney World,
wow.
They are pushing each other, man.
Unbelievable. I mean, just how they, I was going through the Animal Kingdom, and they have the, what is it called? The Avatar land.
That was a biggie.
Now, when I look at it, I'm amazed. I'm like, well, how did they build this? Mm-hmm. You look at it, I'm like, that's
the construction side.
How did they do this? Because that's the first thing I see. I'm like, gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, so on the business side, I always talk about this. Talk about everything matters. Every detail matters that we do, right. and it can all come back in good profits. And I will share a story with you. So Avatar was a response of Disney, and I don't know the whole backstory, but before that, Disney and Universal were kind of bidding on the whole Harry Potter thing.
Yes.
And Universal won out and had a crazy successful run with that, and still are, of course. And I was watching them when they were constructing the Harry Potter land. And I watched a guy who was doing the construction drawing each detail out of the mortar to try to make it look like old stone. And I was like, man, that's attention to detail. You got this giant place, and you got one guy just literally carving it out. And then you look at what it turned into, the money that it has generated.
Yeah.
And I think this is a lesson for all businesses, right? We see these things, and sometimes you skip the things that are not, you don't deem them to be big enough to be important.
That's right.
Everything matters.
The details.
Oh man,
it's all in the details, and it brings you longevity too.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely, and always innovating.
That's right.
You always got to be ahead, and I think those are lessons that we all have to learn in business. Right?
Oh, absolutely. When we were out there, we went to the Magic Kingdom, and next to Space Mountain, they're building this massive roller coaster building. It's like twice the size of Space Mountain, which is already big.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, these people just keep on pushing themselves to be better, And I think it's amazing. It's a good lesson that we could all learn to see how, you always look at the people that do better than you or the successful people out there. And that's what you want to be. You want to emulate that. And the way that these guys push and to think about this, that's very small. Those parts are in their entire business.
Yeah.
That is one of the smaller parts.
That's right.
And look how good they do.
Gosh, it's crazy, right?
It's unbelievable.
I want to check out this book. You said it was Iger?
His name is Bob Iger. It's called Ride of a Lifetime.
Ride of a Lifetime.
Yeah, I need some royalties, Bob.
Oh,
I'm promoting you.
It's probably going to blow up just off this podcast.
You're going to blow up, bro. You're going to blow up, bro. I promise. You don't worry. We got you here.
You go ahead. You buy that dinner tonight.
That's right. That's right.
So Nigel, as we get towards the back end of the show, and this is great information, man, and I could have you on any time. I feel like we could talk forever. Tell me what you would want people to know about yourself and Berkshire Hathaway. What makes you guys special? What would you want your customers to know?
Well, our company is a very special company in my eyes. We pay attention to details. We pay attention to our customers. We try to put ourselves a step above the average, so we expect from our agents to really be that next, the best that they can possibly be, right? And we want to deliver the best service that we possibly can for our clients. Because that's what we're here for, because we want them to come back. Being, our company, we make our own name in the town. You hear of Berkshire Hathaway. Well, if we mess up, you're going to hear about it.
Yeah.
And versus some of the other companies where there's, multiples. But, thus far, we've been able to hold a very strong name, and we'll continue to in our company. For me and my team is, we're here to help you from your sales, from your building, to give you a first class experience.
Absolutely.
All around from, all the businesses that we own.
And I can tell you this. I mean, I know people that work at your company. I've known Marvin Hyde for quite some time.
Wonderful guy. Shout out to Marvin.
100% shout out to Marvin. Yeah. He's a great guy. And I got to tell you, I mean, it really is a great atmosphere out there when I go and see the people that you guys are hiring. What would you say if you were to describe?
You need to see the new office, by the way.
I do want to see this new office. I mean, you said state of the art.
Oh, state of the art.
When you walk in, is there like a hologram? Like,
we got the green wall of moss, and
no way.
From the glass doors frosted. We got a phone booth. We got a phone booth upstairs. Everybody needs a phone booth.
Well, 100%. Is it like one of those old London phone booths?
No. We made it more modern to kind of fit our vibe. But right. It when you go in, there's soundproof, and so if you need to have that private conversation, or you could just walk in, or if you need to have.
Now this sounds pretty ritzy, man. You're sounding like Google right now to me a little bit. Do you guys have relaxation pods in there?
If we had the room, we're a little tight right now. They're a little tight right now.
You don't want to look too bougie to your customers, though. No, these are relaxation pods.
He's in the salt pod right now. Right. He'll be out in 30.
He's in his hyperbaric chamber or whatever. No, that's really cool. I definitely want to come check this office out. Is it open to so I could just come out and check it out?
Oh, absolutely. We'd love to.
We're going to have to almost do like a live podcast from there.
Listen, I would like to invite you to one.
All right, cool. Let's definitely put that on the books. Let me ask you a question. If you were going to describe your company culture in one word, and I'm going to say one word, you can cheat and do more. What would it be?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I just stumped Nigel.
I think service is always something that's very big to us. I think our expertise are a step above. So I would start there. We got a lot of other things that we could say about it, but I think our professionalism is probably the most important thing. We're very professional. I'm probably the most dressed down or craziest dressed in my office, but
and you're looking pretty good, man. If this is
and the rest, I'm coming a little more professionally. Old school, professionally dressed, I guess.
Well, I got to say, in one thing I have noticed, and again, I don't know how hardcore you guys are on dress code, but this is one of the few areas where, and I'm just sharing stuff from my family and the way they talk, but you get a lot of agents in Myrtle Beach that, they'll wear flip flops to work and shorts and stuff.
Not at Berkshire Hathaway.
Not at Berkshire. And you know what? I tell you, I know it works for some people, but I always look to my mom when I'm looking for, how a customer at the base level feels. And my mom's always like, I don't like the way they look. I like the guy with the shirt and tie. He looks so nice. And that's where my mom's going.
Up until about 2 years ago, everybody was wearing ties, everybody, in the office. And I think COVID kind of changed a little bit of everything and how people presented themselves. And so now you're starting to see a culture, a little more dressed down. Have you noticed that?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
A little more dressed down, but then you can still dress it up.
You can still dress down a little and still look sharp.
Yes.
And I think that's the key, right?
That's right. Right.
That's awesome. If they're going to spend a lot of money with you, they want to make sure that you get your stuff put together.
I'm one the guy with the tie versus the guy with the flip flops. If I'm going to spend a lot of money,
I got you. That's awesome, Nigel. It's been awesome having you on today.
Hey, thank you so much.
A lot of great information.
Yes.
It's really cool to be talking to a local fella.
That's right.
Who's made it big. So definitely, we'll love to have you on again. His name is Nigel. He is with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Congratulations on everything. Thanks for being on with us.
Thank you, my brother.
All right. And this is Rob Clemons signing out with Crown and Connections.